Analogies with lotteries are relevant only for epistemic reasons. But the real issue is that a theistic context, if not ruled out, allows for the possibility of miracles. And that's the point you were making earlier, right? And multiple well-attested miracle claims in that context makes them probable. Right. He gives an example of the philosopher Richard Pertil. He emphasizes unusual events might even be expected in the right context, in a theological, atheistic context. He says, we do not expect, for instance, athletic world records to be broken regularly, but we might expect them to occur at times at the Olympics. There's the context, right? And so Pertel then argues that while Jesus' resurrection makes no sense as a random event, it fits with the context of his life and teaching, which it climaxes. And so you have to look at the context, and if there's a theistic context, then that again increases the probability that the event happened, right? Just like if we're talking about somebody breaking a world record in the Olympic context, that increases the probability of the event happening. And so we have to take into account the context when we're examining these various claims. It's not just experience, right? Uniform experience, and it's not just unreliable witnesses, but we also need to look at the context of the event as well when we're considering what actually happened.
Yeah, and I think that's lost sometimes in trying, both sides trying to make their points, is that if everything's going along, if Jesus is teaching, all of a sudden he's grabbed by the Romans and crucified on a cross and buried and resurrected, and he pops out and everyone's, whoa, no one is expecting it, and Jesus is also surprised. That might add a little bit of more doubt into it. But if Jesus is saying, hey, in 3 days, if you kill me, I will raise up this temple, and if there's a historical context of entire 40 books of an Old Testament talking about all these miracles that will come to pass and this precipice of a person who will usher in the kingdom of God, and if people are looking back to it and pointing to this being the culmination of human history, if this is surrounding it, that adds way more weight to something like the resurrection happening than just Jesus rising from the dead all of a sudden, poof, and everyone's shocked, including him, and they just go on with their life. But no, things change as a result of it, and there's even though not everyone was expecting it or believing it, the fact that people are writing about it, especially after the fact, saying here's points where everyone should have known, and here's him saying these particular things that show that he's talking about his resurrection, that just adds more to it instead of just someone being Usain Bolt's world record in a friendly competition at a picnic, right? So that would be even more surprising in that case.